If you ever felt like you didn't fit in, this video is for you. Hey guys, Aaron Geezy here, bringing you the Geeztown perspective. I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer, and my work has been seen and heard by hundreds of thousands of people. I'm here today to give you the most valuable thing that I can give you, and that's my perspective. Today's video is going to be about not fitting in and being different. And if that's you, if you've ever felt like you didn't fit in, I'm hoping that you'll relate to some of what I have to say, and hopefully it'll help you. Just get right into it. For me, I didn't feel like I fit in with my own family, from a pretty young age. I was a picky eater, and my mom's dad owned a restaurant in South Carolina. And I think my parents were just kind of embarrassed, that their kid is this picky eater that's not going to eat, these nice meals at this restaurant and that my mom's dad owned. And they really just gave me a hard time about it. They kind of just made me feel like there's something wrong with me. They tried to convince me that I wasn't going to live past 21, that I was going to get diabetes, that, all this like crazy stuff. And really just made me feel like a weirdo, like there's something wrong with me. And it just made me feel really awkward in certain social situations, or like embarrassed, like if I was at a friend's house and I was a little bit picky, didn't want to eat, a certain thing, didn't want, maybe I wanted cheese pizza instead of pepperoni pizza. I just feel like there's something wrong with me for wanting that. And, just weird things like that whole situation just really affected me and made me feel like I didn't fit in, and I really struggled with that. And the other thing too is that I was never into sports. I was never, really into outdoorsy kind of things. I was into creative things. I was into, using the home video camera to make, these weird TV shows with my friends. I was, into electronics and wiring together a bunch of speakers, and, I was into music. And my dad really just thought that something was wrong with me, that I didn't want to play baseball, that I didn't want to, he wanted me to play baseball, and he wanted me to the Boy Scouts, and he forced me to do those things. And I was not good at either, I was not good or interested in either of those. And I felt like, softball, I just felt like they didn't want me to be there. Like I didn't want to be there. And it was just a really awkward, bad situation. And my dad just made me feel like there's something wrong with me, that I didn't want to do these things because that's what he did when he was a kid and he had fun. So of course I should like the same things. And I just didn't. And, it really made me feel like there's something wrong with me, and really, struggled to make friends, struggled in social situations because I always felt like, like timid or embarrassed, or, or just afraid to talk to people. And, it's something that I really struggled with. I remember in middle school, there was a year that I literally didn't talk to anyone. Like they'd just be like, oh yeah, that kid just doesn't talk. And, just weird, like I'd sit by myself at lunch, those kinds of things. And it was tough. And I remember like, middle school, high school is when I really started getting into music, started learning to play guitar. A friend of mine in high school gave me a copy of Fruity Loops, which is like Fruity Loops version 1.76, like way back then, old school, OG, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I was into that. I was really into the electronic music. I was, trying to play in rock bands and things like that too. But I would be in my room, like just making these electronic songs, and it was some really kind of weird stuff. Like I was into 9 Inch Nails, and I was coming up with all these weird sounds that I would use. But I was just really into it. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And the thing you gotta understand is my dad is a music teacher. He got a PhD in music theory. He teaches guitar and piano. He played drums, put himself through college playing drums when that was something you could do. And so I thought, man, I finally got something. Like my dad's gonna think this is really cool. I gotta show him this song that I just made. And so I was all excited, and go out, find him. Hey Dad, you gotta check this thing out. This is really cool. And here's what I got was, not right now. watching this, maybe in a commercial, so just instant like buzzkill, just so excited and no. And then, finally like, okay, I'll wait, maybe they'll come check it out later. Finally comes to check it out and, Dad, you got to check this out. This is so cool. This awesome thing that I did, this electronic music, play the song for him. And all I got, it was just, wasn't impressed. It was just, oh, this is wrong. Oh, this is too complicated. You're violating this rule of music theory, that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just such a buzzkill, such a bummer. And I always just never really felt like my parents understood me. And they always just made me feel like there's something wrong with me and just didn't fit in. And it made me just feel like awkward and timid and afraid to talk to people and embarrassed and and that was something that I really struggled with for a long time, but I kept doing music. And in high school, senior year, I finally met the right group of guys to have a band with. Finally had a band that we could play shows. And because before then, I would jam with people, but we just never really found like members that would be committed, that would stick around. But I finally had this band, and it was so much fun, just hanging out. Like finally I felt like I had a group of friends to fit in with, and we just had a blast. Like those were some really good years, some really good times. And after high school, I started going to college for music production and recording, and I saw a business opportunity, and I saw it as a way that I could have a studio. And not only because, building a studio is expensive, that's something that's like a really important dream of mine to do. And, but I wanted to have another source of income so that I could just make whatever I wanted to make in the studio. And if people buy it, great. If they don't, oh, well, I'm still making money on this other thing. And so I just saw this business opportunity. I was all excited about it. I thought this is really cool. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit outside of what I was doing, before, but if I can make this work, it's really going to help. And all these friends that I had finally fit in with, that finally had this, good group of friends, a lot of them were really upset with me that I was doing this. And, I could kind of like understand you get these two worlds clashing of this businessy, salesy kind of stuff and, the creative musician, kind of people not really, you know what I mean? But they were just really, made me feel bad about it, really, like put me down, really just gave me a hard time about it. And it was a real bummer. I just felt like I had I felt like they were my friends, but they weren't really being friends. And I realized that they just never really were real friends. And that was a real bummer. And around that same time, I became a Christian, and I was making some new friends. But they, it's like I talked to them about, one thing, but they didn't really know anything about music. And, I guess that's kind of been my whole adult life, is where I've, like anyone that I've felt like I fit in with a little bit, I'd be able to talk about one thing, but they wouldn't know anything about, the other stuff that I'm into. But I think what I've learned is a few different things from all of this. Is that one, being different is really just a matter of perspective. Like if you move to a different country right now, you'd automatically be different just because everyone around you is, from a different country, right? I mean, it depends on your environment, depends on who's around you. And the other thing that's really important about being different is that being different, it's like a superpower, all right? Being okay with being different. It's like when all your friends are doing something, and you're like, I don't know about that. That's maybe not such a good idea, right? Maybe that's like not going to be helpful. Maybe you can get into some really bad trouble, really dangerous, whatever. And you can be the one friend that stands up and says, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. It's like there's so many people that are slaves to their friends, that can't have their own opinions, that can't live their life the way they want because they're too afraid of what other people think about them, because they're too afraid of losing those friends, too afraid of not fitting in. And if you've already dealt with that and it's not such a big deal to you anymore, and that's a real, that's like a superpower. And when you can stand up and be the person that says, maybe this isn't such a good idea, what you'll find out is that there are other people that were thinking the same thing. They're just too afraid to say it. And sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they'll be too afraid to talk then and tell you later, but yeah, it's an important thing. And here's the other really important perspective to keep in mind, okay? Think about the word average for a second, all right? If average is here, all right, if you want to be above average, by definition, you're going to be different, okay? All right, average is just getting by. Average is in debt, bad relationships. If you want to have a great life, you're going to have to be different. And but you're also going to find that no matter where you are, there's going to be people that fit in with you and people that don't. And it's just how it is. It doesn't mean you can't be happy. It doesn't mean you can't be accepted. You just have to, live with being different. And we all are. We're all created different, right? And the thing that attracts people is being able to be confident and own it, all right? Because we all have unique stuff. We all have unique tastes. And if you can just own it, and just have your own thing and be confident, people are attracted to that. People follow that. Right? There's always, any group of people, there's always kind of that one leader that's like the decision maker of, maybe there'd be some other people that are too afraid to have their own opinion, but then there's that one person that everyone follows. If you can be that person, all that it really is just being yourself and just being confident about it. Okay, and people will be okay with that and accept that. And in some situations, maybe the thing that's causing you not to fit in is maybe, hygiene, maybe not having good people skills. And those are things that you should learn about and change. And honestly, if that's your only problem that's causing you to not be able to make friends and not be happy or whatever, you should be happy because that's an easy fix. All right, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable to make the change. Maybe it's, something that just your life circumstances right now are just putting you in a bad situation where it's really difficult. But you know what? You can overcome it. You can work through it. You can find a way, and it'll be a really easy fix if that's all you're struggling with. And other than that, like this video, subscribe. If it helped you, let me know in the comments. Share it with your friends. Let's keep spreading the message. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.